I wrote jam almost 4 times. I'm not gonna lie, 4 good times. What if I had married someone who was richer to treat me? This is God, if you're watching this part, he's going to hate me for saying this. This guy is just onto me. A message popped into my phone, and my husband saw this guy saying some very sweet words to me. Hey, God, cry that I discovered myself when I was almost 30 years. Hi guys, welcome to another video. This video is not the regular kind of video you guys have been seeing for a while. It just dawned on me that my birthday is approximately in 1 month, and I think for me, one thing I have come to realize as an adult is whenever it's approaching my birthday, I become very reflective. I start to ponder on my choices, on the things I have, achieved in the past year and things I want to achieve in the coming year. Maybe because I'm very ambitious and I'm somebody that while growing up, I didn't really put in a lot of thought into some of my decisions. So now as an adult, I feel like it's just coming up naturally. I see myself putting in a lot of thoughts and reflecting and all that. If you were on this channel last year when I had my birthday, not before my birthday, I was really emotional. I was an emotional wreck. I was really contemplating on a lot of things or a lot of choices that I made. I was asking myself a lot of questions and all that. Now we are here again for another reflection. It's going towards two things. One of them is the man I chose as my life partner. And secondly, I know that sounds very funny. Yes, the man I chose as my life partner. Sometimes I just ask myself, did I really choose well? Where could I have seen myself if I had made a different choice? Stay tuned to the end of this video to find out the answers to most of these questions that pop into my head. The second one revolves around my career choices, okay? What am I doing now? Am I happy with what I'm doing? Do I feel fulfilled? Do I want more from life, or what are the mistakes I think I have made? And then future plans, okay? Yes, so we are going to answer all these questions in this video. First of all, you guys should go ahead, click the like button so that we'll continue. See, this video is going to be very unedited because this video is basically me voicing what's in my head, okay? Do I think I made the right choice in a life partner? Do you know, sometimes I used to just sit down and be like, what if I had married someone who was richer? What if I marry someone that I wouldn't need to actually lift a finger and everything would just, be at my fingertips? Everything I want. If I say I want this car, I get it. If I say I want this house, I get it. If I want to fly to any country, I just fly and all that. Sometimes as a human being, I feel that way. But then again, I ask myself, would I be happy from the little things I've experienced in life? I think happiness is the most important thing because my husband is that kind of person that will give you peace. He will give you peace as much as you want it, okay? And sometimes his peace can be so boring that I'll be like, come on, do something, do something. So he's very peaceful, he's very sensitive to my needs. If I want him to do something, most times I don't even say, baby, do this for me. I just the body language, maybe the way I behave and all that. A man that doesn't even look at your facial expression, doesn't look at your face to know, oh, is my wife happy or not? He won't care, okay? Do I think I would have swapped him for somebody who is more influential, richer, and all that? No. Maybe it could have actually turned out really well for me. Maybe I could have gotten the happiness I wanted in that kind of, but I wouldn't want to gamble it, okay? So I think in that aspect, I'm very satisfied. I'm very happy. When we started dating, okay, what really engineered, I was so young then. If you guys have followed my story, I met my husband when I was 17. So, and then because of the kind of father I have, I used to, in as much as my dad was very strict with us, I used to be like, no, I want this kind of person because I could see how hands-on he was at home. I could see him, just being there, present. Or my dad is a very present dad, even up till today, okay? Like just subconsciously, I wanted it for myself. So when I met my husband, early times when we started dating, I was actually seeing other people. I'm not even gonna lie, not just seeing other people. I just had some male friends that piqued interest in me then, not like we were dating. But my husband was someone that I was in the dating process with, okay? You know when you visit a guy and the guy will be like, you know what, I'm taking you to a fancy restaurant, I'm taking you to this, I'm taking you to that. I'll visit this man, he'll come out from his hospital, and then he comes into the house. Instead of taking me out, he'll go to his kitchen and grab a plate of cooked white rice and stew, and then serve me. in my head, I think for me then it was because of the kind of family I came from. It was like a good sign for me. I was seeing like, wow, okay, this is nice for a change. You understand? So I could see the homely side of him and the fact that he was having me cooked food, the one he cooked with his very own hands. I think for me, that was one of the things that made me feel like, okay, this man is actually for keeps. Okay. Before I even get to his house, he had cooked, he's cleaned up his house. His house used to be very spotless. So I saw him as this kind of independent man that doesn't depend on a girl to do anything for him. Wow. Okay. Oh, me, I need that kind of help, I beg. And because I could see that in my home already where I was growing up. So it was like, okay, this is good, this is good. So those were the things that ticked the boxes for me. And to be honest, today, with the life we're living in the UK, the hustle, I'm very, very happy that I made that decision. I had other people coming for me then, people that I could think, okay, maybe as at then they were richer than him because my husband was just an upcoming medical doctor. So I think they were richer than him. I'm telling you, there's one. Let me even tell you this one. There is one that I was kind of picking interest in. And he was living in Uyo then. My husband was living in Aba. So, and I was schooling in Uyo. So he was more like a bit more present. So one of the days my husband visited, because by then I had lost my brother. So my husband kind of started visiting our house then. So one of the days my husband visited, I think a message popped in and a message popped into my phone, and my husband saw this guy saying some very sweet words to me. Hey, God, cry. Like, do you know what today I use it to yab him? Do you remember that day you cried? Do you remember that day you cried? Do you know if my sisters were not there to be my witness, maybe today my husband would have been denying. He was talking, he was trembling, he was like, so I thought I was the only person in your life. I thought I was still, oh my God. So this is how you want to treat me. This is God, if you're watching this part, he's going to hate me for saying this. But I think I'm just trying to state some very sweet things that I noticed about him because I feel like a lot of other men will either be violent or walk away or do something rash at that time. But he just stayed, we talked it out, and I kind of convinced him that look, this guy is just onto me. Not like I wasn't giving him the green light, but I'm telling you now that it is you and you alone. Anyway, so that was one incident that kind of also shaped our relationship there and shaped my decision of getting very serious with him. Another thing I used to struggle with, not anymore now, because I feel like the more you're maturing, the more you're like opening your eyes to some of your life decisions, and you're like, okay, I actually did the right thing. So, but at some point in our marriage, that was like 5 years after our marriage, or maybe even earlier than then. Yes, about 5 years after our marriage, when things were becoming really tough for us, things were really tough for us, I'm not gonna lie. I was like questioning my decision to even settle down at that age because at that age, a lot of my age mates were very ambitious, pursuing their career. I was still schooling then. I was doing my master's and even up to my PhD, but I still felt very unfulfilled because I wanted to have a job and be earning cool cash. Okay. So because I saw a lot of my mates, reaching that height, I was like, why did I even, who even sent me? And I think it was also affecting me then when I started having children because in my head, I'm like, if I didn't have these kids now, maybe I would have been in Lagos working somewhere. I would have been traveling. I would have, that kind of life. So it kind of affected me a little bit mentally then. And I think it took a lot of love and a lot of maturity as well for me to realize that look, all that glitters is not gold. Some of these people that you're seeing flying like that, they wish they had a family like you. Okay, so it's not, this life is not balanced. Okay, but now as I'm maturing, as the year goes by, and the more I look at my children, and even when I look at my life now, I'm like, okay, I think I made the right decision because now it's almost like everything is now settling. It's almost like, okay, I can now think of myself without always putting my children first. Not without always feeling held down by my children. That's the right word. Because sometimes you just want to achieve something and then you're like, oh, but I'm nursing a baby. I'm doing that. I'm doing that. So it's now that I feel like I'm discovering myself. I am putting in more into myself. I am trying to grow myself. I'm trying to pursue a career that I love so much. So it's now beginning to dawn on me that I took the right decision. Maybe that was just how God wanted my life to play out. God wanted me to just focus on having family. And now He is now showing me the pathway that I should pursue. And maybe if I had pursued a career then, maybe I would have still been single, or I would have been doing a job I don't love as much as I love what I'm doing now. You understand? So I just think that sometimes when you let God into your life, when you let Him be the controller, when you let Him be the driver of your life, let's use that word, when you let God be the driver of your life, you will be amazed at how many destinations He's going to take you to. You'll be amazed at what He's going to do. You'll be amazed at where He will drive you to. I'm telling you, because there has never been a time when I stopped hoping and trusting God, even committing my life into God's hands. Okay. So now it's more like, okay, I have discovered myself, I'm discovering myself, and I am trying to build a career for myself. Okay. So that brings me into the career talks, my career choices. I grew up as a child that was meant to study medicine and become a medical doctor. Back then, that was one of the best career a child could pursue if you want to become something in life. Be a medical doctor, engineer, all those very professional courses and all that. My dad did everything he could do to get me in there. A long process, I'm telling you. We fell out on so many occasions. I was almost becoming that very bad egg in the family. I had one last opportunity to get into ABSU. My score was okay, but they wanted us to donate computers and all the stuff. And then I was already in year one in uni, studying microbiology. My dad was so insistent on making sure that I study medicine. He kept on making me write jam even while I was in uni. So as at my year two, that was when I think year two, I was supposed to pull out to go and read medicine in ABSU. But the only thing that stopped me from achieving that was then ABSU was asking people to donate computers if you wanted your child to gain admission. And my dad, being who he is, because he's a lecturer and very strict one at that. Those of you that know my dad know that he won't even bulge for that. And when I heard it in my head, I was laughing. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be the last. Because then I told him, look, if I write this one and I don't get in, I'm done. Let me just focus on what I'm doing in microbiology, and whatever happens, happens. So we agreed. And unfortunately, this happened, and he knew that he just had to stop. So that's how I stopped pursuing medicine, and I met my husband. I think that was in year one, then about to get into year two. So that's how I stopped pursuing medicine. I met my husband, who's a medical doctor, and in my head I'm like, okay, you know what? Since I couldn't become the medical doctor that you want me to be, or you wanted me to be, I'm gonna give you a medical doctor's son-in-law. Anyway, that's just a joke, but I mean that's how that one played out. So you could see that I was like, I wrote jam almost 4 times. I'm not gonna lie, 4 good times. All engineered by my dad. He wanted, even up to when I graduated as a microbiologist, he was still telling me, sometimes he'll come and chip in and be like, do you know that it's not too, you're still very young, you can still go in and read medicine. I just said, no, I'm going forward. And that's how he said, okay, another option is for you to do masters. And this man brought me a master's form to my house where I was doing Omugo. I just had Mona. So imagine someone that was just coming out from having a child. I couldn't even figure what my life was going to be. Nothing. And this man brought me master's form. And I said, okay, you know what? Let me just do it. Because then I was like, what am I supposed to do? Jobs were difficult to come by. And in my head, I'm like, maybe when I finish this master's, my dad is going to help me get a lecturing job. And he also promised that he was going to help me get a lecturing job. So when we finished everything, I don't want to go into the long story, the whole process of this whole thing, but just know that every step of the way, God was just using something else to block all these things. Like none of them were working. Okay, fine. I finished my master's with distinction. And then that's when the zeal to get into PhD came in. I got into PhD, studied for almost a year, and then we decided to leave the country. Now, I don't want to get into everything that happened while I was, what even prompted me to go into PhD and all this stuff, because this video is going to be so long. But then again, I just want you guys to imagine the career path that I was meant to go, like I was meant to follow, until I left the country and moved over to this country. To be honest, I'm going to say this again because I'm going to say this because of other people that could find themselves in my similar situation. Um, We never know when we discover ourselves. Like, it's never too early or too late to discover oneself. Okay. One would think that, oh, at the age of 20, you should know what you're supposed to do. You should know what you can. No, that's not true. Use me as an example. I would say it openly and proudly that I discovered myself when I was almost 30 years. Yes, I discovered what I love to do. Like, when you're doing something, you're not even thinking of food, you just do it. And it's not like you studied for it or anything. You're just gifted and you're doing it because it gives you joy. You're happy every day you wake up. It makes you want to look forward to achieving something, makes you want to look forward to, what you can do with your hands. Trust me, you never know when you will discover yourself, but just keep at it. Never stop. Don't ever give up. Okay. I discovered myself close to when I was 30. And that's when I started to create content. I started to design our home. Okay, it all started when I started to design our home. I didn't even see myself being an interior designer. No, 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 no. It was never part of the plan. I think as at then, I was more focused on creating content, getting all the brand deals and all that. And honestly, I love creating content. I love creating content. If I didn't love creating content, trust me, YouTube would have frustrated me by now and I wouldn't be sitting right in front of you guys. But just for the love of content creation, I absolutely adore creating content. I live for it, okay? And that's because it's self-taught. It's something I taught myself. I stayed up at night to build myself. It all started when we bought our it started before we bought our house, but then again, it kind of took a different dimension when we bought our house, okay? And then people were always thinking, oh, this guy is just showing off. It's not a common thing in our Black community, not just Black community, in Nigeria. People in Nigeria don't really understand the need for people to show off their homes. Now, for me, because I was in the midst of, or I was in the midst of a lot of whites showcasing their homes and all that, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I started showcasing our home, showcasing what we did with our empty house, how we transformed our house into a home. And then I started getting some brand deals and all that. And that's when I was like, okay, so there's money in this thing. I can actually, monetize this whole thing. Because then it was just all about, I didn't even understand that it was a talent in me that was pushing me to actually showcase this thing. Because everything I did in our house, I was always sharing it on YouTube. Okay, so that's where, I think that's, for me, that is where the whole interior design craving started from. Okay, and then it went into brand deals and all that. So for me now, would I choose another career path? Absolutely not. Honestly, I am a very happy content creator, influencer, and also most importantly, I'm a happy interior designer. Now, am I where I want to be? No, I'm just starting. Honestly, when it comes to interior design, when I see what people do, when I see what a lot of interior designers do, especially in this country, I'm like, okay, Didi, you're just at the bottom side, you're just starting. But listen, nobody's gonna stop me. I want to get to where I want to get to. I want to get to a stage where I can have a team of interior designers, to work with, to design people's homes. But for now, I can only do it myself and my team. Like, I can only do it myself, okay? But I want to get to that stage where I do not have to be there to actually, carry out a certain project. And then we share them across different interior stylists, okay? But that's where I want to be when it comes to interior design. For me, the joy I derive from designing people's homes is immeasurable. Okay, it's satisfying. Before now, I used to do just online and then just do the mood board, do all the little things online that we can do without actually going to people's houses. But the results were not as satisfying as they are when I actually do these things with my hands, because these hands are really blessed. Okay, so I'm just trying to blow my trumpet sometimes. Yes, I have to. My follower told me the other time that, look, Didi, you do not blow your trumpet as much as you should. You need to blow your trumpet. So I'm here trying to blow my trumpet. Don't mind me anyway. So it's not the same as when Didi comes into your house to decorate your space, because a lot of things, even when we have this whole thing planned out, things could change while actually doing the placement and installation. And because you have the foresight, It's in your head. You as an interior designer can maneuver things and make them look even better than the way it was planned. Okay, so that is why I thought, okay, I need to go into the field and actually do these things. We don't do renovations yet, which I feel I don't have the manpower to do it. I've got a lot of people coming to me to do renovations, and then we go into this, the whole thing. No, but I don't want to take on more than I should, because for me to get into renovations, I must have my team members for every section, plumbing, plastering, everything like that. I must have those people. So that's where I want to get to in the future, God willing, because it all begins from the structure. And if you can get the structure right, the interior can be very minimal and still very beautiful. So that's where I want to get to in the future. So would I make a different career choice? Absolutely not. Like I said, I'm very, very happy with the career choices I have made. And to top it up even more, the fact that I can work from home, the fact that I do not need to get a childminder to be with my children while I go to work, the fact that I know everything that goes on in their lives, in their school, because I'm always at home, okay? It's for me is an absolute blessing. I could never swap it for anything, because this country is not just as rosy as it looks. Okay, you as a parent or one parent has to always be on ground. So that's why I feel like I am absolutely blessed by God, because I feel like this is the area God has been preparing for me as a person right from day one, knowing that I'm a family oriented person and I am also very, very career driven. So He has found a way to marry everything together and given me a platform as beautiful as this to showcase my talent. So I'm very grateful to God, and He alone could have been responsible for this. I do not take any glory, neither would my husband take any glory. I give all the glory to God. Not even my hard work, because a lot of people even work harder than I do, but still struggle to get to the stage. So I give all the glory to God. Anyway, the reason why I felt the need to do this video is because last year I was at that stage where I was questioning a lot of decisions, even questioning my decision to be an influencer, a creator, an interior stylist, everything. I was questioning my decisions. But between that time and now, a lot has changed. There's been a lot of growth. God has been faithful. And this birthday, all I can do is give glory to God. I'm telling you, I can never complain of anything. In as much as I'm not where I want to be, all I can say is that God has been faithful within the last 1 year, and a lot has changed. Like I said, a lot has transformed. There's been a huge turnover, because I remember when I was crying then, a lot of people were telling me, DDC, this is when things are about to turn around. A lot of you prayed for me. A lot of you prayed and prophesied in my life, and I'm very grateful, because that's why I keep saying that I'm grateful for this platform, because I have so many positive people on my platform. Social media in general has been a blessing to me, because I have very positive minded people that the moment they open their mouths to pray, it just happens. Okay, I'm using this medium to say thank you so much for sticking by me, for always supporting this brand, for always praying for me and my family. God will always meet you at every point of your need. Okay, and yes, take this video as a thank you video from me to you guys, and look forward to something bigger in the new year. Didi is becoming even more matured as the year goes by. So look forward to my birthday, not a party. See, I'm not in that party era, okay? I just feel like I should now, from now henceforth, I should be using my time to do something more productive. In as much as I give glory to God, I'm not in the party era, okay? It's been amazing speaking with you guys. It's been a long time we did this chit chat, okay? Sometimes it's very necessary to just sit down and chat. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope this video somehow has impacted into somebody's life or has inspired somebody who is still trying or struggling to find their feet. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video. Stay fabulous. Bye.